We pick up with Eleanor and the father of Wally West. He pleads with Eleanor, stating that they were on the same side. But she reveals that they were never on the same side. Barry Allen and I had a higher calling. Work that began with my grandfather decades ago, said Eleanor. She talks about how Barry Allen found a way to access something called the still point, and how Wally was now the key to accessing the still point now that Barry Allen has died. As Wally West's father protests this idea, she orders the guards to take him back to the command hub and restrain him there. We switch over to the rogues alongside Wally and Grodd. At this point, the rogues have basically turned against Eleanor and they're helping Wally break into the facility so he can rescue both his and Grodd's fathers. After they had subdued the trickster who was a spy for Eleanor, Captain Cold tells Captain Boomerang, have your drones do a recon loop. Thawne knows we're coming and I don't want any more surprises. As this happens, Captain Cold feels the temperature suddenly getting hotter and hotter. That's when Heatwave attacks. Golden Glider gets distracted and Trickster uses this opportunity to escape. As Flash tries to get ready to absorb his powers like he did in their previous fight, Captain Cold tells him to forget about Heatwave and go find his dad. As Flash and Grodd race off into the facility, Eleanor stands in the command hub with Wally's dad tied up to a chair as she is expecting Wally. She tells Trickster to disengage and follow Wally. As Wally and Grodd get inside the facility, he starts experiencing multiple moments in time. He sees both himself and Barry Allen at a previous point in time when Barry asks him, so your dad tell you anything about what we're doing here at Fort Fox? Wally replies telling Barry that he and his dad don't talk about work stuff very much and that they hadn't had much in common since his mom died. Wally and Grodd begin to follow the past Wally and Barry as they lead them to Barry's lab. Wally starts to experience another point in time where he first got his powers and asks the question, Dad, are you there? At this point, Wally is seeing two different projections of two different moments in time. Eventually, he begins to feel overwhelmed as he's experiencing all these moments in time all at once. As he calls out to Grodd for help, Grodd is distracted while staring into an empty cell where he sees that his father is gone. Trickster comes out of nowhere and attacks, but Wally quickly picks up Grodd and takes off as fast as possible. That's when we see that this is all going according to Eleanor's plans. That's a keep him moving, said Eleanor as she instructs Trickster to lead him to Barry Allen's lab. Corner him there, make him feel threatened, his power will do the rest. And so we cut back to the rogues as they still battle with Heatwave. None of their attacks are working. All of Digger's boomerangs burn up as they come in contact with him. Captain Cold tries to reason with him. But this doesn't work. He continues to attack his former teammates. It's gotten to a point where they're considering a retreat. But then all of a sudden it starts to rain. And the heat of Heatwave is dissipated. The rain puts it out. And we see that it's Weather Wizard. He had arrived here in hopes to help the rogues in dealing with Eleanor. As Wally keeps running through the facility, he eventually ends up at Barry Allen's lab where he sees this huge source of energy going off. This is the same energy that Eleanor has been trying to access the entire time. Wally begins to experience other moments in his own history again. And as he decides to stand his ground against Trickster there in the lab, she throws a bomb at Grodd and Wally immediately attacks. He grabs the bomb and throws it back at her. The bomb hits the source of energy and it starts spiking, changing and shifting. A hand begins to poke out of the energy source, calling out to Wally, and initially Wally thinks this is Barry. As he reaches out to the hand, his father, who's watching this from the command hub, yells at him not to. The figure steps out of the energy source, grabbing Wally's hand. Not Barry. This was Eobard Thawne. Eleanor. Thawne watches in shock and he says there can only be one as he flings Wally into the energy source. Wally goes crashing into what looks like a collapsing building only to be met by Barry Allen in some energy form, and he just says, Wally, welcome home.